Thank you, Dr. Fikri. That was essential. That was really wonderful. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Anamaria Sayre. She is a video, radio, podcast host, producer, and reporter. She works for NPR and Tiny Desk. She traveled in 2023 across the United States and visited the southern border and was a reporter for an award-winning series called Regional Goes Global. She's interviewed artists such as Santana and Rosalia. They span generations and, in fact, even the entire globe. She elevates the sounds and the stories of the culture that defines LatinX. So welcome, Anamaria.
With this guy. Bad Bunny, one of the biggest artists in the world, recently released an album that many are saying is a pretty big deal. Widely speaking, people are saying it's his most Puerto Rican album yet. A love letter home from a global superstar. In it, he outlines Puerto Rican's greatest fear, a Puerto Rico without Puerto Ricans. Now, shortly after this album was released, I actually flew to Puerto Rico. As a music podcast host and a producer for Tiny Desk, I figured it made sense for me to pay his home a visit. I hop off the plane, order my Uber, and within minutes, the ricketiest old gold Kia Sedona comes careening in, and out hops Kevin. Big smile on his face, blasting the Bad Bunny record. I happen to be talking on the phone with my sister, as I often am, and Kevin turns to me, a tickled smile on his face. I wish I could offer you a cafecito to go with all of that cheesecake, he says. That's Kevin. Funny, effusive, delightfully welcoming like many of the people I've met on the island. We get to chatting on our drive, and he starts to share with me his love for the island, the way he feels the culture is slipping. Kevin is a photographer. He loves to show people what he finds beautiful through his art. He excitedly shows me the first photo he ever posted. Picture of the bay in Viejo San Juan. There's nothing more beautiful than home. But at 30 years old, Kevin is about to leave home. He's booking a one-way ticket to Texas, he tells me. For the past 10 years, he's been trying to make it work, doing odd jobs, Uber security, and do his art. But with the way people are moving onto the island and prices are rising, it's untenable. If he wants to live in his own home, the place where his parents were born, his abuelos were born, he's gonna have to go. Kevin, I tell him, Bad Bunny is singing about your life. I realized that the day it came out. I was driving someone and she encouraged me to put it on. I wasn't that excited to do it because I've honestly never been that into his music, but I've always watched from afar with pride. All these years, as I've been trying to realize my artistic dreams, here's this guy from home realizing his. Much like Kevin came crashing into my life, Vení Tirar Más Fotos came careening into his. Kevin hit play and everything changed. This album was different. These were songs he'd known his entire life before he heard a single note. It's about me, he said. Everyone like me. I've been listening to it every day, all the time since. I hear those words, yo me quedo aquí, and I think to myself, what if I don't leave? He turns to me now, tears in his eyes, and he starts actually pounding the dashboard. Yo me quedo aquí, ya no quiero irme. A flash. He wipes his tears. I'm sorry, I'm getting too emotional, he tells me. I have to go. I'm still going to go. I've run the calculations, and if I don't go now, I'll never be able to afford to live in my own home. So, story over. Kevin's still gonna go, one could say. To me, Kevin's story is just beginning. Because if you think about the minutes, seconds, moments where he thought and dreamt and paused and believed that maybe he could stay, Kevin was generating power. Now, we'll come back to Kevin later, but I want you to imagine for a second all the other Puerto Ricans who heard this album and felt the same. It's about me, they maybe said. Add up all those little waves and you get one big wave, fomented in collective fear and dreams. That's real power. A power so deep, so vast, incontrovertible, unpurchasable, individual yet collective, complicated yet pure, a joyful resistance. Music is joyful resistance. It's where we can be our most selves and where we connect to each other. The best example to me of that is Kevin's home, Puerto Rico. This past November, Puerto Rico had historic elections. The pro-independence party and the social issues party rallied together in support of the Puerto Rican people. Musicians campaigned for this alliance, and while they didn't win the governorship, they garnered 30% of the vote, effectively flipping the island to be a three-party system. In this moment, in these days, seconds, minutes, there was actually a real, tangible potential for a different Puerto Rico. Musicians became governors through art, and people, the people who would build on that community of power. Now, a musician to me who is the best example of this is rapper PJ Sayre. He has historically been vocal about Puerto Rican issues, unabashedly, unapologetically. I had actually a friend joke to me once that he's the unofficial mayor of Puerto Rico. He's actually banned from playing a lot of places on the island because he's so oppositional to the current government, singing songs that include words like Las Playas son el pueblo. Personally, PJ is about as affable as they come. The kind of guy who calls his parents twice a day and sleeps with 3 rescue dogs snuggled up against his chest. Try to find a moment where PJ's not smiling. I think you'd have an easier time spotting a unicorn. Months before Bad Bunny ever released an album that put Puerto Rican issues on a global stage, I witnessed one of the most authentic expressions of its struggle at PJ's concert. I had a friend who told me that Puerto Rico is the home for people who feel in between, ni de aquí, ni de allá, because there's a real tension there. Many of us, Latinos, know this tension within our own bodies, both the colonizer and the colonized. They live that tension as a society. As a music critic, I can tell you, tension makes for damn good art. The night of PJ's show, there was laughs, smiles, perreo hasta abajo. It was part political rally, part lesson in mutual aid and how to take care of each other in love. Standing there that night, I was watching everyone collectively pound the dashboard, consciously or not, creating the big wave. I knew that I was in the midst of realizing something. Music as joyful resistance. It took me back to another night years earlier. This is Mexican singer Santana. She has a voice that can bend the energy in any mood, equal parts deeply evocative and silky smooth, spun from ancestral pools of power. You hear this voice once and you truly never forget it. Now, Mexico, unlike Puerto Rico, is a lot quieter with its wounds, unwilling to expose some of its darker corners in its art. Santana is one of the few artists that I know who is currently talking about Mexican issues overtly in her music. The night I saw her play at the Teatro Metropolitan in Mexico City, I watched her bend quiet energy into explosion. In a song where she essentially creates an alternate universe where she too has fallen victim to the femicide that many of her Mexican sisters had, she starts to sing, "If they kill me, let them say that I was a singer living in their dreams. That, like all of us, I grew up in fear, but I still went out to see the stars." Knowing nods, tears beginning to form, I began to realize in the crowd that the type of art Santana makes isn't just a craving. "If they kill me," she begins again, "let them fill me with flowers, cover me with dirt, so that I may be a seed for those to come." Amidst deep weeps, I something they need, it's something we need to breathe, so that they cannot contain us anymore, she sings, so that we will not be silenced. You can't fake the kind of deeply lived, shared experience that goes into beautifully resonant art. And honestly, I've kind of always felt myself in Santana. We started our careers around the same time. Her debut album was one of the first that I wrote about. Her Tiny Desk, one of the first that I produced. And honestly, personally, when I feel down, there are few things that can pick me up, like a few notes from that beautiful voice. They get me back to laughing, to dancing, to just being. Silvana's show that night was bookended by dancing. A lover of rhythmic art and all things silly, when I think about Silvana, memories, flashes of us wiggling in the street between giggled gasps for air come to mind. And don't even get me started on how that girl can get down on the dance floor. I would actually argue that it's Silvana's familiarity with pain that makes her so joyful. I work on this thing called Tiny Desk. It resonates with a lot of people around the world. People always want to know, what's the key? Why does something blow up? And there's all kinds of theories, but I'm here to tell you it's really quite simple. People love Tiny Desk because it's a space where people can be their own selves. That desk buzzes with power. It's how we connect. I brought these guys last year. You might know them by now. Their names are Kate and Paco, and when people find out that I produced this show, which as of today has 25 million views, they always want to know two things. One, where did they come from? And two, why did their show blow up? I can point you to a lot of different shows and explainer videos on YouTube that will try to answer that question for you, but I'm going to tell you the answer is pretty simple, and it's the same for both questions. Argentina. Argentina, much like Puerto Rico, has the kind of history, rich and beautiful, of music being a voice for people. That's the type of information that helps me explain another little known secret about Tiny Desk, which is actually the fact that they are a large percentage of our audience, second only to the United States. Argentina loves Tiny Desk. Knowing that, I had been looking for the right artists to bring to showcase what they have, beautifully resistant music. These guys, they're having a good time. It's apparent, infectious. They actually made the world explode over a clip they posted where they were realizing that they've been hooking up with the same girl. But musically resistant? Well, yeah. Authentic art, it's more than just a craving. It's something we actually need to breathe. In a world with all kinds of falsehoods, we need something to come home to and see as reliably true. I know who I am because nothing moves my soul like the first few notes of Cielito Lindo. It's memories, it's moments, it's truth about the way the world looks through my eyes. Today, more Mexicans are listening to music from Mexico, Colombians from Colombia, and all across Latin America, it's the same. Music is the concrete sensation I can anchor my beliefs about the world to. This world we live in, it's overwhelming, as we all know, and when we feel we're losing a grip on our own selves, music takes us home. Mexican philosopher Octavio Paz says that true joy is not just happiness and jokes, it's actually an acknowledgement of pain, of suffering, of heartache. True joy is something that he says we feel as an intoxication, a whirlwind. In the hubbub of fiesta nights, we raise our voices and life and death mingle together. If that's the case, I would argue that Silvana is a brilliant light that resists that. She told me once, I feel Mexican, but musically I feel as Mexican as I feel Venezuelan, as I feel Colombian. I feel my roots are infinite. What do infinite roots give her? Freedom, she told me. And freedom is her most favorite feeling in the world. There's a freedom to the uniqueness of Kate and Paco. The new wave of fluffy blue hats, and puffy red hard vests. Pure joy. I was talking to a friend recently who does a lot of reporting in war zones. She was really struggling to understand if all the pain that she was experiencing to do this work was really worth it. It's not the death that makes me sad, she told me. It's the life, the way that babies keep being born, people keep falling in love, getting married. Why, I asked. Because, she paused. Then that means they're just like us. Seeing other people as their pain, even if it's something we're trying to platform to help mitigate, can be divisive, othering. But experiencing people's joy, which, as we all know, can also be painful, that's how we see each other. I would encourage you all to find some joyful resistors to return back to when the world is feeling particularly scary or uncertain and you're feeling particularly unpowerful. I've just introduced you to a few of mine. But before I let you go, I want to take you back to Puerto Rico, the epicenter of the resistance, where you never know when the next apagón is coming, but people still find ways to dance till the wee hours of the night. Many of us Latinos know it well, the hubbub of a fiesta night. I actually asked Bad Bunny what he thought about all of this, if there was anything in particular in Puerto Rico that he was particularly afraid of losing. He said this to me. I think one always lives in fear of something, but what you do is important. To take care of it, to protect it, to defend it. I would tell you about so many things I'm afraid of losing, but the action of starting to take care of and defend what one has is worth more than saying you are afraid. My friend Miguel, he's from a barrio called La Perla, and took me on one of my last nights in San Juan for one final bomba night. Listen, he said to me, pointing to the ocean. I'm from the only barrio in the world where no matter where you are, you can still hear that. Octavio Paz says that Mexicans, and I think it's fair to extrapolate to Latinos at large, see the world not as something to be perfected, but to be redeemed. There's nothing perfect here, but there's beauty and tension. That night in La Perla, we danced till the wee hours, letting our voices explode into brilliant lights, singing Las Playas Son del Pueblo. As I heard people sing, Ya no quiero irme de aquí, I thought to myself, there's one last place I have to go before I leave the island. I found Kevin sitting in a food truck trailer parking lot, cleaning his camera. I had one last burning question. Had anything changed? Turns out, he's decided to stay. Who knows how many other